All right, I'm trying to record a video for a friend. It's on a VHS, which I've got hooked up to an old television, and it's very crude, as you can tell. And I don't know how to transfer VHS to video, so I'm just simply going to point the camera at the video camera. I'm going to hit the play button here. Let's see, hit rewind, and where's play at? Play. Oh, there we go. See if we can get it playing.
Is able to be spotted like that, it's fish in a bowl somewhere, and you can take it for what it's worth. That's pretty fishy.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna let it run.
It sounds like you followed this stuff pretty carefully over the years. Have you read the books, or?
I'll tell you, when I first got interested in it, it's like I told you before, when I began to see the discrepancies, and then I began to talk to my neighbors and to people who, man, you must be off your rocker, because it don't say that in this book, and it doesn't say that in the Warren Commission, and it doesn't say that. Dallas Morning News, I believe, if I'm correct, put out a magazine in the 70s that showed all the situations that transpired, and in every sentence of the time that the gentleman was shot, time he got to Parkland Hospital, and I know I can read it here in this building, they accelerated. Acceleration to me, they really moved, right? Well, I don't want them taking me to the hospital, and that's the truth, because the acceleration that that car had, I could have beat him by running. He may have picked up speed on down the road, which I didn't follow him as he went on up Stillman's, but they weren't moving at all. And I would, now this is my speculations, and okay, I'm just going to drop this on you. In that tunnel down there that we're talking about going through, I've summed it up this way. Something transpired, and I don't know what it was. Probably never will. There had to be, between the lapse of the time that they had the shooting up there and the time that they got in that tunnel and the time that they got out of there, something happened. And I'm sure nobody up there on the hill knows, because they weren't interested in the tunnel, they were interested in getting away. But something transpired in that tunnel, and I'll never know to this day what happened. But there is something that went in there. It just isn't feasible that that car took that long to get through that tunnel without stopping. If they accelerated, they'd have been through it in no time. You've been to that tunnel. I've walked through it. And I know that somewhere in that tunnel something took place, and I'll never know, and you won't either. But there is your puzzle right there, right in that tunnel. If anyone would have been in that tunnel, if I would have just had, well, I probably shouldn't say this, but if I'd have had the knowledge that I have now back then, I'd have went up into that tunnel. I probably never come back out, but I would have probably went up in there. I would love to know what transpired up there.
I can tell you some things that you may not be aware of. And once we finish here, we'll take you up into the museum, and I want to show you a picture, a photograph. There was someone else out in the area where you were. He was in front of you, between you and the triple underpass, and he was there with his 2 or 3 kids and a movie camera. And his camera catches Kennedy's car as it first emerges from the tunnel and goes right by. And the problem with his film is you don't see much, because he held the camera against his chest so he could see with his eyes clearer rather than look through the viewfinder. So he had the camera aimed too low, and you don't really see much, but you can see the car going by. And the frames are so blurred you can't see much, but everybody is down inside the car, which might have given you the impression that there's no one there. But I don't know, because I don't know how close you were.
Let me back this up.
Okay.
Here's the table, and this is where the car was. And if there was anybody in there, it was a heck of a, I'd say it was a vanishing trick, because I can see the upholstery, I can see the floor, I can see and it amazed me because after I've heard this, I wondered what happened to them too, because the front of the car and in that seat that I described to you was empty. And the next seat back there, it takes a curve, okay? It actually does, it goes around. I've never seen a car like that, and probably never will again as far as it comes. But you could have put the flowers on the floor. If they were in there, they would have covered them, right? There was nobody covering the floor. The flowers were all over, just looked like they'd been shredded all across the floor. There was not a person in that car. And then I turn around and see people on the picture of the car going down the freeway with Jacqueline Kennedy. I would have loved, believe me, I'll tell you the truth, I would have loved to see Miss Kennedy. I wouldn't have loved to know what transpired to her husband or anything, but I would have loved to see the lady. But there was nobody in that cotton-picking car, and that's why I'm here talking to you today. If you'd seen people in the car, then there would be no questions whatsoever for me to come up here and sit here, and why would I barefaced tell you something that isn't true if you got pictures to prove it? But I don't have any, but if I had, you'd be really upset, because there is a car with nobody but the guy with the gun. What does that spell? The guy driving, turning around, asking the guy to, I don't know what the heck he wanted to tell him, but the guy here on the back of the car was telling the guy in the front, get the damn thing moving. But you gotta remember, I'm looking at an empty car, and that's what puzzles me. And you're saying, boy, here's a guy that saw the car with nobody in it, and everybody else has seen him going down the freeway. I've seen pictures like that, but where in the heck did they come from? Who in the world? What different direction was there to go except the other way up around Dalmo? See, this is the reason why I'm sitting here saying to you, I can tell you all day long what I've seen, but with no documentation or no photos. Well, if I was prepared to give you the photos, then you better be prepared, because I was prepared for assassination, okay? But I wasn't. I was sitting there trying to figure out what was happening. And this is what transpired, and that's why I'm telling you that there's something fishy in the boat. And there's other people that know there's fish in that boat that were out there with me. And pray to God someday somebody will come up here and verify what they saw and what I see. And that's the very truth. And I hope the heck they do, because it is time for this thing to come to an end. I mean, it can't go on. I've read about Lincoln and his assassination, and now I understand. I can put two and two together. That, man, you can do this stuff if you got the backing of a bunch of people. You can pull off some real good stuff. And people don't comprehend what's coming off. They see what somebody puts in their mind. And I can tell you it was a shot out there, and it all came from the window. Everybody agrees. They don't remember. They were too dang scared. They were all running around like chickens down there. I can see the pictures now, and I imagine it's just like anything else. You got there with a gun right now and start shooting, everybody's going to start running. And I think that's what happened up here. Everybody was distracted, and no one understands. On the other side, we were not distracted. We were knowing what was going on, and when this transpired, no photographs, no nothing. We're seeing what we've seen, and why they don't come forward, I'll never know. Unless they were the same thing that I got the impression. Nobody really give a darn, because they don't want to get involved. They don't want to be called a nut. They don't want to be done this way and that way. But folks, we got to get off that crack. I mean, that it can go on and on and on. And things just keep transpiring. But yeah, that's not right. Not right at all.
What I've seen in the, and again, there are only two photographs and one color home movie taken from your side of the triple underpass. And what they show is there were three cars that went by initially. And Kennedy's car was very dark blue, had flags on the front. And the Secret Service car, which was a 55 Cadillac, and one of those agents had an AR-15 machine gun.
Where'd he go?
He stayed in the car.
I know, but you telling me they came down that way?
Yeah, I mean, they were bumper to bumper almost. Oh, hold on, let me finish this is what the pictures show.
Okay.
And Chief Curry was in a white, I think it was a Ford sedan, and he was in front. And right after the shooting, he pulled over to the left. They went by him, and he got in between. And then after that, a long time went by, relatively speaking, before any of the other cars came by.
I don't know what part of town he was in, because maybe that road goes somewhere else, but I don't know it goes. It's just a one-way road. It's still the same way it was when I was there 20 years ago. Now, there's probably some changes down at the other end down there, but there was no car except one. And that car was going just exactly like I described. And I stood there for a long time after that car had passed, anticipating something else come down through there. Never came down through there. And as God is my witness, there's people on that bridge that can verify what I saw. And even that officer, if he's still alive, bless his heart, he can tell you that ain't true. There wasn't none of that transpired that you just told me. The car's going the way you say they went, because I was there. Now, if I hadn't been, I'd buy your story in a minute, because I figured they ought to do that. They ought to have gotten in there and got him out of there. That didn't happen. And where he was, that's supposed to be in that car, he wasn't. And you can either buy my story, I'm going to die with it, I'm not going to change it, but it's there, and it's the truth, so help me God. That's the truth, what I seen. And was I there after the president got shot? I don't think so, because I was down there when I heard this 4 things. Now, did something happen in the Twilight Zone that I got moved and switched and everything happened? Well, why would that one lone car come through there then? That don't make sense. None of this junk makes sense. I mean, from the beginning to the end, it don't make sense. And you're going to pursue it, and you're going to have your museum, but I don't understand what's wrong with the people of Dallas. Are the people that showed up there that know what transpired and were able to sit down and talk to you and tell you what they've seen, because they weren't in that melee up here. They could tell you the truth off that bridge. I can't believe that there's that many people that would be so, oh, well, how would you describe them? Just not giving a hoot? Why would that happen?
Our role, of course, is to document. That's what we're doing today. So your story is on tape, and it'll be here for eons to come.
But when will it be verified to be actually what I said as the truth by someone else who, them people that you described to me were 3 kids and a man? Sir, where were they at?
The man was leaning against the support sign, which gives the directions, Stanley's off to the right, and I'm off to the left, or whatever. He was leaning against the post, and you can actually see him in one of the 2 photographs that were taken. The photographer was a freelancer, and he got a picture of that Cadillac going by. I'm sorry, he got a picture of Kennedy's car coming toward him, and then he got a picture of the Cadillac, which was right behind him. And you can see 2 groups of people, maybe 15 guys, standing there along the curb, and then farther down, leaning against the post, is this man with his kids in front. The only reason I would know that is that I know the man, I know the kids, and I've seen the film. And we have the film here at the museum.
See what I'd like to do, if you don't mind. First of all, I'd like to show you where I was. I mean, basically set you and stand you right there. Okay? And I want you to see the visibility that I have looking up 1, 2, 3. You know what that is, correct? Okay. Now, if I'm here and I can see the sidewalk, there's something that don't add up there too. And it makes me want to know what in the heck happened to me. Okay?
We can go out there and look. I think it'd be great.
Well, I would love to take you there. I've been here one time before, and I came in here and I talked to a gentleman that was out front, and he was telling me, and I said, "How old are you, son?" And he told me. I said, "Where was you when the assassination took place?" And he told me. So I told him, I said, "Well, come with me a minute." And I took him down there. And I said, right here is where I was. And I said, the car was right there. And he said, you know, I did hear something about the serviceman, Secret Serviceman talking to the guy in the front. I said, yeah, he was. But I said, you see where I was?
That happened. That happened.
Mm-hmm. I said, you see where I was? He said, yeah, I see where you were. I said, well, you explained to me one thing. You're going along telling me this story, and I'm sitting here telling you that I saw this. You can see that I can't see what's up on the hill, but I can show you this right here. I'd love to take you down there and just let you see what I had observed. And you tell me what you think.
Well, we can do that. Maybe we can bring Stephen and bring the camera too.
I'd love to show you from where I was at.
Are there...
Am I holding you up, Daryl? I mean, I'm getting carried away with this, but you know what? It's time somebody told somebody something that somebody ought to know. And I didn't come down here for that. It just brought back memories when I was downstairs that I saw the car with Kennedy in it. And I told Conan, I said, I was right here, Conan, right there, within not even 12 inches away from the car. I could have got killed. I would have thought that guy would have shot me. But he wasn't even concerned about me being there. Probably don't even know I was there. I'm not that conspicuous. I wasn't doing nothing but just standing. But I was close enough to that car to be able to do that. I thought I had a hand grenade, I'd have blown them all up. I mean, it was just that easy to drop in there. But there wasn't nobody there. I still can't get that over. There's nobody in that damn car. And it's frightening to think about it. Where did they go? And then you come up with this gentleman here, and I swear if there'd been any kids up there, they wouldn't have been quiet. They'd have been moving around. I'd like to talk to that man too. There's another guy I'd love to find, if you don't mind. That's the death guy. The guy that, a death guy, you know, I'd love to find that turkey. I mean, pardon me, but I'd love to comprehend how he's got an eyesight like an eagle. Can you see anybody, when we go down there, and we can go on the bridge, where he supposedly was, and he's telling you that he could see somebody up there put a tool in a tool, or a gun in the tool, he's lying. I'm gonna tell you, I'll tell him to his face. Ain't nobody that sharp that can see. Can you believe that? He can see 2,000 yards and see a man put a gun in a toolbox? I like to fell over, but the guys, we couldn't talk. But that's not true. I was there.
You're referring to a fellow named Ed Hoffman.
I have no idea. I just seen it one day. One guy told me, he said, come here. And he took me in there and he said, this is a documentary. He said, I want you to see this. And the guy was up there going, and doing this. And I said, and he even said he saw Kennedy his wife on the car. And I said, I'd like to know where the guy was. I really want to know where he was, because this story of mine don't sound right.
When we go out there, I can show you where he was.
Okay.
The distance from, hold on a second, don't
Okay.
forget. The distance from where he was to the fence up on the grassy knoll is about 700 feet.
Okay.
It's quite a distance.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it had to be quite a distance for him to see what and to describe it the way he described it and how the guy walked off. No, man. You got glasses on, but I'm going to ask you something. Do you think you could do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Miracles do happen.
The people who know him, and I've met him, I've spoken with him, people who know him pretty much grant him that, you know, yeah, he was probably there and he probably did see something. Whether he saw it accurately or not, that's another question.
That's possible.
Who knows?
But let me ask you this. Them 3 police officers that came out from under the car, can you explain that?
Yes. And those 3 guys are in the photograph. There were several riding ahead of the motorcade.
Yeah, I just know these 3. My question for that one was, didn't they know what happened?
No, they did not. Not at that point.
Didn't they look back?
No one knew. The official story is that those 3 cops did not know what had happened. Chief Curry was aware that shots had been fired, but he didn't know if anyone had been hit. One of the motorcycle officers riding alongside of Kennedy speeded up to tell Curry that, yes, those were shots, and the president was hit, and we got to go to the hospital. And that's when Curry and those guys took off. But that was past where, if I'm understanding, that's past where you were standing.
Okay.
So some of this happened somewhere. We'll go out and take a look.
Okay, yeah, what I was trying to get at was the fact that these 3 officers came through the tunnel, okay? Came all the way down where I am, never looked in the rearview mirror, never looked back. What the heck are they doing? And then go on down the highway. It seems like somebody would have realized there ain't nobody following us. Or something would have clicked. That's like they could have left the whole procession. And did. And had no idea what was going on in the back of them. That, to me, it kind of went way out. I thought, now, here's the assassination. Here's 3 police officers coming out from under the tunnel, and they're long and gone before the car even comes down through there. Way, a pretty good little while. They never looked back to see who the hell was coming back there. Did they leave? Well, think about it. You would have looked back, wouldn't you? Would you keep going? And when you wherever you were going, you got off and looked back and ain't nobody back there. That's kind of embarrassing. But that really and truly transpired too.
My memory of this is that the motorcycle guys were in the tunnel or had come out of the tunnel, but Kennedy was still back in Dealey Plaza. So they didn't really know what had happened.
No, but they were supposed to lead the procession with it.
They were, well, yes, but they had been riding in front of Chief Curry's car, and Curry's car was in front of Kennedy's car.
Okay,
so these guys are...
See, I have no idea what transpired up here, but I just know when they come out of the tunnel, it was before they come out of the tunnel that the shots were fired. Because that's what made us, or made me think that that was what it was. It backfired in there. But after you rewind your mind and you rewind the circumstances in what transpired up the hill, and you see the program, you understand that them 2 bangs and the 2 short cracks are not backfires. And if you really think about it, they weren't backfires because they didn't sound like backfires. But at that particular time, you wasn't worried about backfires. You were worried about looking for someone coming down through there. But it's amazing what transpires. And you sit here and talk, and yes, I've got probably my incorrect part somewhere in there where it's incorrect, but I know certain factors that are not incorrect. I don't know about the time factor being exactly like I said it was, but I can assure you what I've seen is basically the truth, because you can't take that away. I did see that, but for keeping up with the time, I didn't. But I know that there was quite a bit of time that transpired.
Well, we've pretty much finished the interview. We'll try and make some sense of your memories, and we'll go out there and we'll also look at a couple pictures. And
Okay.
This has been a super interview. I'm so glad that you spoke up and you were able to hang around so we could talk.
Well, I'm sorry I did this to you, Conan, and I've been down here. Yeah, well, I've talked to detectives and I've talked to some of the guys in the shrine that were police officers, you know, and they just, you know, they don't know. They don't know. Nobody wants to really talk about it either, you know the truth about it? And that's the way I feel. Nobody really wants to say anything because I guess, in a way, you turn out to be on the right.
All right. Shorty, thank you very much.
Hey, you're more than welcome, man.
All right.
I just didn't mean to tie you up like that.
No. Enjoy.
See that right there? I want to know what happened back there.
This is where you were standing.
Where's these people?
Photograph or farther back that way. So,
I rest my case.
how tall were you? This tall, didn't you? That one was this tall?
No, sir. The police officer was sitting right up there. Okay?
I can look up his name.
All right, you look him up. He's a big fella, about your size and everything. He was sitting right up there. Okay? When I walked up to him and I told him, I said, man, I'm going to get a damn good look at the president. I ain't never seen one. Down there, off the side of that thing, like I say, there's different here than it was then and right down over to here, okay? Here. Let me explain something to you. right here, okay? That's when I saw the guy on the back talking to the guy on the front, okay? And he said, get the damn thing open. But before that, the 3 motorcycle cops came through, okay? And they went on. Now, I can't see what's transpiring up there. I don't know. So I stand here for a while waiting on other things and they don't show up. So I go on up.
Where'd you park up there? Was there?
Right over there.
Oh, on that side.
over there.
Who's on that side?
Yeah, I was coming this way, see? They had stimulants actually so they could come on up and go on up on the freeway.
You just parked on the side of the road?
Yeah, I just got out. Me and about, well, I don't know how many more was up there. But I just parked up there and got out and walked off and walked over to him and talked to him. I went back down here and then I stood here. I saw this one car go up through here and then I waited. Nothing else happened, so I went back up there and I stood up there with him for a long time asking him what happened. He didn't know. And then I talked to a couple of people mingling around there, and then all of a sudden we saw these motorcycles coming down, and that's when we heard on the radio. And I don't know if you can get that proven I knew that, but on their radio they said they had Latin Americans going out West Davis. They had all them police officers on motorcycles going down with them. But I didn't see a little thing from out that tunnel except that damn one car and them 3 motorcycles. And I had all that time to walk all the way up over there and back to the car and you stand there and talk to him. And you figure it out. Did you tell me there were people down here? I didn't see a soul down here.
You walked all the way across that deal?
I walked all the way down there. I wish, you know, the British film would have been a lot good, but I wish I'd have had a camera back then. Because you know what? I would be a millionaire now. I'd be sitting out on the thing. I'd sell every one of them pictures that I give ever seen.
That's your aunt,
But look at this.
We can go back to the museum. I can take you down to my office and I'll show you that guy's picture.
Okay. I'd love to see it. You see, I could be the biggest liar in the world, but there would be people that saw me. I didn't see nobody down here. They honestly were all on that daggone bridge.
The deaf mute, Ed Hoffman,
Mm-hmm.
he was way up over there on the other side of the entrance. So he was looking across stems. He couldn't have seen the trees weren't there. The sign is taller down than it was then. He could have seen something.
Okay, yeah. When I got back up here, we saw people running, actually running in the back of the building, going in the middle of Shorty. Well, we see a bunch of people going that way. They didn't come up over there.
The silver cars were right over there.
Yeah, they were right in that area. They were
It had to be behind the counter.
And you can see them from up there.
It wasn't anywhere else in there.
You didn't have a venue.
No.
Just knew.
Come in and you can duck in there. Well, if you come in there in the morning and have your first break, you can find out what you can do.
It was open all day long.
Yeah.
My story gets strange as it goes.
The guys up there,
generally,
those guys were.
right after the 2:30 break, 2:30, 2:45, about 3 of us.
Yeah,
I
All
like
I remember is that there
Yeah.
were some people in the
Yeah.
general area, but
Right.
we didn't have any specific
No.
symbols of any of them. He
Yeah.
just knew. Here's the
Yeah,
first
everywhere they-
one.
Yeah.
We had ashtrays on
He
the
was
table.
going to originally get up in Neely Plaza, but there
In
were like
fact, if you look at those deals, I was smoking a cigar and I was smoking
Russell
down.
Kennedy to see his kids when they waved to him.
I was smoking a cigar and one of them picked me
I
up.
wanted to see him.
So he stood there because he said there was no one
Yeah,
for
I'd be
him.
more than happy
So
to
he
come in
told
and
the
help you.
kids, I know the kids,
Yeah.
they were, and you
Yeah.
can see in the film, they're waiting, even though they've heard the noises, which they did not
That would be
recognize as
interesting to have
shots.
something
Jack
back there.
Daniel, they thought they might be shots because he'd been in the service. But he didn't know what had happened, just like you.
Apparently
It's
this thing
strange.
showed 2 codes on the wall, you know.
I came by this, and I know you're probably having second thoughts about what I've told you, but there's something
But I do
weird in
remember that
Denmark. I mean,
counter for
I've
these
heard of
grannies,
Twilight Zones, but this is
Cormac, and it looked like granite. In fact, I know it was even more.
What the?
Last road trip, and it was just going out
Everything.
Disney World or somewhere.
Down here. Yeah, let me tell you, there's nothing to
Most of it,
distract.
like
This
the
part wasn't here.
Yeah, no, this one. This is it. Like I say, when I told you about the slider and stuff, they really, it was really hard to walk in here.
Even watching that
the thing that I can't comprehend, and I'm by myself, it's daylight today, it's kind of brisk, okay? In there, and you don't see a soul